Life in the United States was different in the 1940s, especially as we entered World War II and began to flex the muscle that would make us a superpower. The war had a special impact on Halls, Tennessee, home to the Dyersburg Army Air Base and the mighty B-17 Flying Fortress. The DAAB was the only B-17 training facility east of the Mississippi, and the crews flew night and day to prepare for combat.
I based my whole interest in the base on 12 O'Clock High. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, but it's a wonderful movie, and when I first moved back here in 1974, that's what this base looked like.
Pat Higdon taught history and government at Halls High School for 18 years. She retired to give 100% of her energy to the Veterans Museum, which occupies a portion of the old base ramp.
In 1986, we had the first homecoming on this base since it closed in 1945. And then in 1992, so much of the base was being just actually demolished or sold or whatever, we decided that we should form a corporation to help save it. Well, people started sending things to my house. And so then, at that point, we decided that probably we should have a museum. So this first museum was built in 1997. And everything you see in this museum except the computers were donated. And everything is donated by people, the money to run it, everything. All of us are volunteers, so it's been quite a love story.
The B-17s and the base are gone now, but the memories live on. The longest runway serves as a municipal airport, and the museum sits where the planes once parked.
Arnold Field is one section of the airbase, the old airbase. And they used the original runway, 5,500 feet. And it was named for Sammy Arnold, who was the mayor at the time and who got the runway reenacted as an airfield. So it's not named after Hamp Arnold. A lot of people think that, but it's not.
When the planes were flying, they burned 90,000 gallons of gas each day. Local storage was only 60,000 gallons, so fuel was delivered by barge up the Mississippi River. The first B-17 to land here was piloted by Nathan Bedford Forrest III.
In the day, and that's what I get excited when I talk about it, we had 77 crewmen trained here. That is not including the people the mechanics, the people who lived here in support of the facility. 7,700 crewmen means there were 770 crews. So those were a lot of crews moving in and out. This was their final phase training before they went to combat. And they would go to Europe. Some of them went to Italy. Some of them went directly to England. But it was final phase training, and we had so many air crashes here that this was a really tough time because they had just been introduced to 4-engine bombers, and they had a full load of men on there, and they had to fly in all kinds of weather, day and night flying, during storms and everything, because they were trying to get them ready for what they would face in battle.
The Veterans Museum at Arnold Field is a loving tribute to the men and women who have fought our battles from World War I to today.
I do the romance tour, and I talk about the young girl's dream and the widow's delight, and how all of these crewmen came in from all over the United States, and they thought our girls were so pretty, and they loved the way we talked, and so many marriages, and you have people come back all the time that were a part of that.
West Tennessee soldiers are a special feature of the museum. Congressman John Tanner was born here on the base, and Bob Little, the last pilot of the Memphis Belle, visits the museum often.
General population that was counted in the census was not any bigger than it is now, but every house had people living in it with them. Garages were made into apartments. The house I live in, the upper story was turned into 2 apartments. I lived at Unionville at the time, and I was 5 years old when the war was over. Don't do math. And we actually turned our chicken house into a place for people to live. So they had these girlfriends and these wives that they wanted to be able to come visit before they left, and they would come here and stay. It's an exciting trip down memory lane. I show them the different activities that were on the base, what a house looked like during World War II, the living room, the ration, and how the public was affected by World War II. Then we move on to the Pacific arena, and we show the Navy and the Marines during World War II. And then we move to Korea, Vietnam, and Desert Storm. And as you see in this room, we highlight the military vehicles that were there, plus a German exhibit, a Holocaust exhibit, and a lot of interesting exhibits. We have a conference room that has one original mural from this base that was painted during World War II, and two that were painted here but were replicated by another artist. And any art lover should be here, because art, military vehicles, uniforms, weddings, everything is us. I'm a romantic, I am, I guess. Because, listen, these people that come back who marry the women around here, they have so much energy, and they're in their late 80s, but they are just so vibrant and exciting. It's a wonderful thing to talk to them. Just meeting the people is wonderful.
The museum is also a great tool for teaching history and sacrifice. More and more school groups are taking advantage of the museum's unique collection and presentations. The museum is open Saturday through Tuesday from 2 to 5 p.m. and by appointment.
I can't emphasize enough about what the people who served here and worked here did for our country during World War II. 114 crewmen died in crashes in this area, over Dyersburg, over Brownsville, out over the river. And I just can't emphasize enough what families gave up for the war effort so that we can be here today talking. And the interesting thing is, families are doing the same thing today.